They thought the credit line was infinite, but the universe always collects. Tonight, we serve the subpoena. The terminal biological bill is finally due. Welcome, my resilient friends. The narcissist has been dining on your soul, your vitality, and your physical essence, believing that the credit line was infinite. But the laws of the universe are absolute. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred, and eventually, every debt must be settled. Today, we are serving the subpoena. We are talking about the terminal biological bill. It is the moment the ledger turns red, and the cost of their predatory intimacy finally comes due. Are you ready to watch the collection agency arrive? You must understand that the intimacy you shared with a narcissist was never a gift. It was a high-interest loan. In the beginning, they borrowed your trust, your body, and your open heart to fill the gaping void within themselves. They presented you with a facade of passion, a performance of deep connection that felt electric. But while you were making love, they were making a transaction. They were extracting your life force to sustain their false self. Did you ever feel a strange, creeping exhaustion after being with them, as if you had just run a marathon while lying perfectly still? That was the interest compounding on the debt they were racking up in your name. This biological bill is not a metaphor, it is a physiological reality. When a narcissist engages in sex, they are not releasing love, they are metabolizing control. They use the act to regulate their own dysregulated nervous system, using your body as a human grounding wire for their chaotic energy. But here is the secret they tried to hide. The human body is designed for truth. When it is used as a tool for deception over and over again, the machinery begins to break down. You felt the symptoms first, the brain fog, the anxiety, the unexplainable aches. But do not be fooled, their body was keeping a tally too. Can you imagine the internal damage caused by decades of faking humanity? The narcissist operates under the delusion that they are exempt from cause and effect. They believe they can exploit human bodies indefinitely without consequence. They treat sex like a drug, a quick fix to numb the pain of their own hollowness. But like any addict, the tolerance builds. The initial high of the love bomb fades faster with each new conquest. They have to work harder, manipulate deeper, and deceive more aggressively just to get the same meager return. This frantic scrambling burns through their biological reserves. Have you ever noticed the desperation in their eyes, the frantic need for validation that lurks behind the mask of arrogance? We need to talk about the currency of somatic integrity. In a healthy person, the mind and body are one. What you feel, you show. What you show, you are. In a narcissist, the mind and body are enemies. The mind says, I am a god, but the body says, I am a frightened child. This internal war creates a massive energetic deficit. Every sexual encounter that is based on lies widens this gap. They are literally tearing themselves apart from the inside out. The bill is accumulating in the form of chronic tension, hardened features, and a nervous system that is fried from the constant voltage of deceit. Did you ever feel the rigidity in their body, a stiffness that never truly relaxed? The terminal biological bill is terrifying because it cannot be paid with money, charm, or lies. It is paid in vitality. As the narcissist ages, the energy they stole from you and others begins to dissipate. They have no internal generator. They have no wellspring of love to draw from. They were entirely dependent on the fuel they harvested from victims. When the victims wake up and leave, the narcissist is left with a massive energetic overdraft. They begin to wither. They look at the mirror and see the debt reflected in their own dead eyes. Have you seen the panic that sets in when they realize their charm is bouncing checks? You might have spent years wondering why they seemed to thrive while you suffered. It felt incredibly unfair. You were the one loving, giving, and trying, yet you were the one breaking down. But you must realize that you were paying the bill up front. You were processing the toxicity in real time. They were deferring it. They were pushing the cost into the future, believing the bill would never arrive. But the future is here. The biological consequences are knocking on the door. Are you starting to see that their apparent success, was just a house of cards waiting for a breeze? The bill includes the atrophy of their capacity for pleasure. Because they have used sex as a weapon for so long, they have destroyed their own ability to enjoy it. It becomes a mechanical function, a scratching of an itch, devoid of the oxytocin that makes it fulfilling. They are left with the empty calories of friction, starving for the nourishment of connection. They are the starving billionaire, surrounded by food they cannot taste. Is there a more fitting punishment than being locked in a body that can no longer feel the very thing it craves most? This is why their behavior becomes more erratic and depraved over time. They are trying to force a reaction from a dying nervous system. They escalate the risk, the cruelty, or the strangeness of the encounters because the normal human way of connecting no longer registers. They are chemically numb. They are chasing the dragon of their youth, but the dragon is dead. Did you ever feel like an experiment in their laboratory, an object being tested to see if they could still feel something, anything at all? As we close the opening of this indictment, I want you to take a deep breath and hand the bill back to them. You have paid enough. You have paid with your tears, your sleep, your health, and your years. But the debt is not yours. The biological bill belongs to the one who consumed the meal. You are walking out of the restaurant. They are still at the table, and the manager is walking over. Are you ready to leave them to settle their own account? As you leave that table, you begin to see the physical reality of their bankruptcy unfolding. We are now moving into the phase where the biological bill starts to manifest in the flesh. We call this the somatic collection. You see, the body is a loyal servant, but it cannot serve two masters forever. It cannot serve the false self and the truth simultaneously. Eventually, the strain of maintaining the mask causes the biological infrastructure to crack. The narcissist's face, once their most prized asset, begins to betray them. The mask of sanity starts to slip, not just psychologically, but physically. Have you noticed how their features seem to be hardening, settling into a permanent sneer of contempt? The stress of constant manipulation creates a toxic bath of cortisol that the narcissist soaks in daily. This is the high cost of doing business in the world of predation. Cortisol destroys collagen, thins the skin, and creates inflammation. The narcissist is literally aging themselves with their own malice. They may try to hide it with surgery, fillers, or obsessive fitness, but you cannot exorcise away the ugliness of the soul. The rot seeps through. It shows in the coldness of the skin, the deadness of the hair, the lack of light in the aura. Did you ever look at them and feel like you were looking at a wax figure that was slowly melting? The terminal bill also attacks their sleep. Sleep is for the innocent. It is for those with a quiet conscience. The narcissist's subconscious is a terrifying place, filled with the ghosts of everyone they have used and discarded. They often suffer from severe insomnia or nightmares. They dread the silence of the night because that is when the collection agency calls. They pace, they drink, they scroll, they seek supply at 3 a.m. because they cannot be alone with their own thoughts. This lack of restorative sleep accelerates their biological decay. Have you ever witnessed their manic energy in the middle of the night, a desperate attempt to outrun the silence? In the bedroom, the somatic collection manifests as dysfunction. Their body begins to refuse the commands of their ego. Erectile dysfunction in men, or physical numbness and frigidity in women, becomes common. This is not just aging. This is the body going on strike. The body is saying, I will no longer perform for a master who hates me. This failure strikes at the very core of their grandiosity. They react with rage, blaming you, blaming the world, but deep down, they know. The machinery is broken. Did you ever feel the brunt of their fury when their body failed to uphold their delusion of omnipotence? We must discuss the stink of desperation. Animals release pheromones when they are afraid or dying. Humans have a version of this too. As the narcissist's biological bill comes due, they emit an energy, and sometimes a literal scent, of decay. It is the smell of stagnant energy, of unwashed shame, of a spirit that has curdled. You might have found yourself physically repelled by them towards the end, needing to wash the smell of them off your skin. That was your biological alarm system warning you that the structure was collapsing. Did you ever feel a sudden wave of nausea just by being in their proximity? The bill also includes the loss of their cognitive sharpness. The brain is an organ, and like the liver or the heart, it can be poisoned. The narcissist has poisoned their brain with decades of twisted logic, gaslighting, and lies. Keeping track of the web of deceit requires massive cognitive resources. Eventually, the brain gets tired. They start slipping up. They mix up their lies. They forget who they told what. They become paranoid and confused. This cognitive decline is the interest rate spiking. They are losing their only weapon, their mind. Have you noticed them becoming sloppier, less cunning, and more transparent in their manipulations? This decline leads to a loss of supply efficiency. In their prime, they could hook a victim with a smile. Now, they have to work overtime. They have to beg, plead, threaten, or buy affection. The return on investment is plummeting. They are expending huge amounts of energy for very little supply. This energy crisis leaves them exhausted and bitter. They are like a predator with dull teeth, starving in a field of prey they can no longer catch. Can you see the tragedy of a creature that has forgotten how to feed itself in any way other than violence? The narcissist's immune system often takes a hit as the bill comes due. The mind-body connection is undeniable. Self-loathing, even when buried under layers of grandiosity, is an immunosuppressant. They may find themselves constantly sick, battling vague ailments, or suffering from chronic pain. They become the professional patient, using their illness to manipulate, but the suffering is real. It is the physical manifestation of their spiritual sickness. They are rotting from the inside out. Did you spend your time nursing a tyrant who despised you for your kindness? The terminal bill is inescapable because it is written in their DNA. Epigenetics tells us that our environment and behavior influence our gene expression. The narcissist has created a cellular environment of toxicity. They have switched on the genes for stress, for inflammation, for decay. They have switched off the genes for connection, for repair, for peace. They are genetically modifying themselves into a state of misery. They are the architects of their own biological doom. Do you realize that by leaving, you saved your own DNA from being corrupted by their code? As we end this chapter, look at the contrast. You are healing. Your body is remembering how to breathe, how to sleep, how to smile. You are paying off your debts and building a surplus of joy. They are drowning in red ink. The collection agency is taking the furniture. The lights are flickering. The eviction notice is on the door. Are you ready to turn your back on their foreclosure and walk into your own abundance? The foreclosure of the narcissist's soul is not a quiet event. It is a chaotic implosion. We enter the third level of this reckoning, where the somatic necrosis creates a vacuum that sucks in everything around it. The narcissist, sensing the terminal nature of their bill, enters a phase of frantic, predatory panic. They know they are running out of time. They know the biological clock of their charm has stopped ticking. This is when they become most dangerous, yet most pathetic. They are like a drowning swimmer trying to climb on top of you to breathe. Have you felt the frantic, clawing energy of their attempts to pull you back under? This panic stems from the supply famine. As their physical allure fades and their cognitive manipulation slips, the easy supply dries up. The world stops reflecting their false godhood. They walk into a room and heads no longer turn. They speak, and people no longer listen with rapt attention. This lack of reflection is a biological starvation for them. Without external validation, their internal chemistry goes haywire. Their dopamine crashes. They enter a state of severe withdrawal, shaking with the tremors of ego death. Have you ever seen them in a moment of public irrelevance, looking small, gray, and terrified? The biological bill demands payment in the form of isolation. Humans are pack animals. We survive through connection. The narcissist has severed every genuine bond in their life. As they age, the crowd thins. The victims leave. The enablers die off or get tired. They are left alone with their own decaying biology. This isolation accelerates the rot. Loneliness is as damaging to the body as smoking. For a narcissist, it is lethal. They sit in their empty kingdoms, surrounded by mirrors that only show a fading ghost. Can you imagine the silence of a house built on noise and lies? In this stage, their sexuality becomes grotesque. It loses all pretense of romance and becomes purely predatory. They may target the vulnerable, the young, or the broken, anyone who cannot see the bill hanging over their head. They are looking for a bargain. They are looking for cheap energy. But even this supply is low quality. It doesn't sustain them. It is like eating junk food when you are starving for nutrients. They remain hungry. They remain hollow. Did you ever feel a wave of pity, quickly followed by nausea, watching them try to seduce someone who didn't know the truth? The terminal bill creates a feedback loop of bitterness. The narcissist feels the world owes them, and the fact that the world is collecting instead of giving enrages them. This rage is acidic. It eats through their stomach lining, it calcifies their arteries. They become bitter old men and women, yelling at clouds, convinced they are victims of a conspiracy of mediocrity. They cannot see that the conspiracy is their own biology reacting to their own choices. They are poisoned by their own venom. Have you noticed how their stories of victimization have become more delusional and less believable? We must talk about the zombie stare. As the biological bill is collected, the light behind their eyes flickers and dies. The connection to the source is gone. You look at them and see a biological machine running on autopilot. The lights are on, but nobody is home. This is soul death, happening while the body is still alive. It is a terrifying thing to witness. It is the ultimate payment, the loss of the self. They have become the nothingness they feared most. Did you ever look into their eyes and feel like you were staring into an open grave? The narcissist tries to use nostalgia as a currency in this phase. They try to rewrite history, to cash in on memories of when they were powerful. They might contact you, trying to evoke the good old days. But this is counterfeit money. The past they talk about never existed. It was a movie set. They are trying to sell you a ticket to a theater that has burned down. Do not buy it. The bill has been sent to collections. The past is closed. Have you felt the tug of their revisionist history, trying to pull you back into a timeline that wasn't real? The biological bill also means they lose the ability to mask their envy. In the past, they could hide it behind a smile. Now, their face contorts visibly when they see you happy. They cannot control the micro-expressions of hatred. Their body betrays them instantly. They look ugly when they look at beauty. They look sick when they look at health. This transparency is your validation. You are not imagining their malice. It is written on their skin. Have you seen the mask slip so completely that the demon underneath was visible to the naked eye? The ultimate tragedy of the terminal bill is that it was avoidable. They could have chosen vulnerability. They could have chosen truth. But they chose the path of the predator, and now they are the prey of time. They are being consumed by the very laws of nature they thought they could outsmart. They are a biological dead end. They leave no legacy of love, only a trail of wreckage. Do you feel the weight lifting off your shoulders as you realize you are not part of their wreckage anymore? As we end this chapter, step out of the shadow of their crumbling tower. You are building a new life on solid ground. They are trapped in the rubble of their own ego. You don't need to save them. You couldn't save them if you tried. The bill is in their name. The debt is theirs. Let them count their losses while you count your blessings. Counting your blessings is the first step of your liberation, but understanding the finality of their fate is the seal on your freedom. We enter the fourth level, where the terminal biological bill becomes a public execution of their character. The narcissist lives for their image, but the biological reality eventually makes the image impossible to sustain. The public collapse is inevitable. The community begins to see what you saw in the dark. The charm offensive fails. The rumors start. The whispers turn into shouts. The bill is being posted on the town square. Have you felt the vindication of seeing others finally wake up to the stench? The narcissist's body becomes a billboard for their spiritual poverty. They can no longer hold the posture of the victor. They slump. They shrink. The somatic grandeur deflates. They begin to look like what they are, small, petty tyrants who have lost their kingdom. This is not just aging, it is the shrinking of the soul. They take up less space in the room. Their energy, once overwhelming, becomes annoying or pathetic. They are easily ignored. Is there a greater punishment for a narcissist than to be overlooked? The terminal bill includes the loss of the harem. The entourage that used to surround them disperses. People gravitate toward warmth, and the narcissist has become ice cold. The sycophants find new idols. The enablers get exhausted. The narcissist is left with the dregs, people who are too broken or too toxic themselves to leave. They become the king of a graveyard, ruling over bones. The vibrant energy you brought to their life is gone, and they cannot replace it. Do you realize that your absence was the beginning of their famine? In this phase, their attempts at intimacy become desperate and clumsy. They act out of character, trying new personas, trying to be spiritual or vulnerable, but it is an ill-fitting suit. It looks ridiculous. The uncanny valley effect is strong. They look human, but they don't act human. They are mimicking emotions they have forgotten how to feel. It is a bad performance in an empty theater. Did you ever watch them try to charm a stranger and feel secondhand embarrassment at how transparent it was? The biological bill demands the death of the fantasy. The narcissist spends their life fantasizing about their ultimate triumph, their vindication, their grand finale. But the biology dictates a slow, quiet fade into obscurity. This cognitive dissonance drives them mad. They cannot reconcile the God in their head with the decaying mortal in the mirror. They snap. They lash out at the waiter, the nurse, the neighbor. They become the crazy old person on the block. They have become a caricature. Have you realized that the monster under the bed was just a sad, angry little person all along? The terminal bill exposes their lack of resilience. Because they never developed a true self, they have no core to lean on when things get tough. When the looks go, when the money goes, when the status goes, they crumble. They have no inner resources. They are an eggshell with no yolk. You, on the other hand, have been forged in fire. You have depths they cannot imagine. You have resilience written in your scars. Do you feel the strength of your own character compared to their fragility? The narcissist eventually becomes a prisoner of their own body. The psychosomatic illnesses become real. The stress-induced damage becomes permanent. They spend their final years chasing doctors, chasing cures, chasing the fountain of youth, but the water is dry. They are terrified of death because death is the ultimate loss of control. It is the final bill that cannot be negotiated. They grip onto life with white knuckles, bitter and afraid. Can you imagine the hell of living in constant fear of the inevitable? The somatic necrosis we spoke of earlier is now total. They are spiritually dead while physically alive. They are the hungry ghosts of Buddhist mythology, always eating, never full. They wander the earth looking for a drop of supply, but their throat is too narrow to swallow it. This is a state of perpetual suffering. It is a hell of their own design. You do not need to wish them ill. They are living in the ill. Have you finally let go of the need for revenge, knowing that their existence is the punishment? The terminal bill is a closed loop. They get exactly what they gave. They gave emptiness, they get emptiness. They gave coldness, they get coldness. They gave lies, they get a reality that is false. The universe is balancing the books. The math is perfect. You were the variable that changed the equation. You subtracted yourself, and the sum became zero. Do you feel the mathematical precision of justice? As we end this chapter, look at the horizon. The storm is behind you. The wreckage is behind you. The narcissist is a speck in the rearview mirror, growing smaller and smaller. You are driving toward the sun. The road is open. The bill is paid. You are free. Welcome to the final chapter, the receipt. You have watched the bill come due, you have seen the collection, and now you are holding the receipt. The receipt is your proof of purchase. It proves you paid for your freedom. It proves you own your life. It proves the transaction is over. You are no longer a debtor. You are the owner of your destiny. Are you ready to file this receipt away and never open the file again? You must understand that the terminal biological bill clears your ledger. You do not owe them guilt. You do not owe them pity. You do not owe them a second glance. Their decline is not your responsibility. You were the victim, not the architect. You are the survivor, not the savior. You cannot save someone who is committed to their own destruction. You can only save yourself. Have you fully accepted that their fate is not your fault? The receipt shows that you bought wisdom at a high price. You know the signs of the predator now. You know the smell of the rot. You know the look of the dead eyes. This wisdom is a shield that will protect you for the rest of your life. You are inoculated against their poison. You are safer, stronger, and wiser than you have ever been. Do you feel the weight of that wisdom like a golden armor? You have also reclaimed your biological sovereignty. Your body belongs to you again. Your nervous system is regulating. Your cortisol is dropping. Your heart is beating for you. You are no longer a battery for a machine. You are a living, breathing, feeling human being. You are designed for joy. You are designed for connection. You are designed for life. Are you treating your body with the reverence it deserves? The receipt proves that love is not a transaction. Real love is free. Real love is a gift. You are now free to find that love, or to give it to yourself. You are free to build relationships based on truth, on vulnerability, on mutual respect. You are free to be intimate without fear of the bill coming due. You are free to be you. Can you feel the excitement of a future that is unwritten? The narcissist will continue to fade. They will become a cautionary tale, a whisper in the wind. They will dissolve into the history of things that did not work. But you are rising. You are becoming. You are the phoenix that rose from the ash of their burning bill. You are the proof that life wins. You are the proof that truth wins. You are the proof that love wins. Take the receipt. Crumple it up. Throw it in the trash. You don't need it anymore. You know who you are. You know what you survived. You know where you are going. The narcissist is the past. You are the present. You are the future. My friends, the banquet hall is empty. The lights are off. The doors are locked. The bill has been paid by the one who incurred it. You are outside, under the stars, breathing the fresh, clean air of freedom. Walk home. You are safe now. You are free. Go live your beautiful, debt-free life.